What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and welcome to my Empire episode 16 recap. I want to give a thanks to my Patreon.com true supporters: Joyce M., Mr. Thorne, Jeff W., Anthony M., C. Shabazz. Thank you so much. You can subscribe to my work at Patreon.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the like button. Also, support me on PayPal. The links is in the description below and at the end of the video. Now, when we click in the Empire, we see Cookie, and she's reuniting with her moms, and she's giving her a hug after thinking about it for a second. And so then after they kind of hug or whatever, mom go get her a drink. She's looking at the pictures on the wall, noticing that mama's been around, and been living her life. In the meantime, we see Cosby Jr., and he's got Shine's body in the back of this truck with this Joe Rockhead looking dude, and he's saying, hey man, make sure that these different parts of the body is scattered all over the place in different boroughs. He like, man, when you said you gonna get me out the hood, this would be different. He say, hey, I said I'd get your mama some help, and I ain't say I was gonna do all of this. And so then meanwhile, while that's going on, we see Jamal, and he's with his little collective group, and they happy. They about to upload their first single, Anonymous. He happy it's no money, no publicity, and they just doing it for the love of music. Meanwhile, we see Lucius, and he's smoking on a stogie, a victory cigar, and now Cosby's rejoined him, and he's telling him about what happened, saying it was a movie. And then Andre walks in, and Andre's trying to say, hey, I've been trying to call you. He said, well, I've been busy. And so he said, well, look, the board has been meeting with Anika behind our back, and they're listening because she wants them to reject Eddie's resignation. And he like, what? And he like, yeah, they're listening, but we can stop it as long as we got Shine's vote. Then we can overthrow it. He like, oh, well, that's going to be kind of hard to do. I think you know why. And he's saying, what do you mean? If they get the vote, then they can overturn and make a difference. And then he like, yeah, you didn't have to do that, Pop. I assured you he was no longer a threat. And he like, well, look, I know you've been to all this Ivy League school, but the school me and Shine went to is you don't start nothing unless you finish it. And he like, well, I mean, I was just trying to make sure everything was okay. He said, hey, Cosby, that movie you saw, are they able to put Humpty Dumpty back together again? And Cosby had the gas face thinking about it. So then they cut to 2 weeks later, and then we see Lucius and Cookie, and they getting ready for a funeral dressed in black. And Cookie's on the phone talking with her mama, and they just going back and forth, and then Lucius say, hey, it's amazing how y'all ain't talked in over 20 years, and now y'all can't get off the phone with each other. That's real cute. And she say, hey, you can talk to your mama too. You know they got phones in the crazy house. He like, hey, that ain't funny. She like, anyway, about this plan, make sure that you put in the word with his baby mama. She say, I know how it go. I helped you put the plan together. So now they at Shine's funeral, and Lucius is trying to cozy up next to the baby mama that got the vote. You see Nessa, she looking good, singing damn good, singing, you know, how she missed Shine. And then we see Cookie, and she trying to give her condolences to the baby mama that they think got the board member vote. And Lucius say, hey man, this is the baby mama. He always been good to all her baby mamas. And Nessa going off, Andre starting to reminisce about how he messed it up. And then Becky, she started asking Jamal, how's it feel to be the Lone Ranger? She like, what do you mean? Don't play dumb with me. He like, don't snitch. She like, I ain't got to snitch. This is a vault. Don't this look secure up in here? And so then next thing you know, we see Nessa, and she's still singing, and she's saying, I miss you, Shine. And you see it was so beautiful. Got grandmama crying, mama crying. And then they like, damn, that was good. Should we clap? And so she walking off. Then she see Cookie. Then she had to pull a reroute on her GPS. Cookie looking all evil-eyed. She like, she better turn around with her big head. And then she go the other way. And then she see crybaby Andre all sitting there. And she wasn't worried about him, though. She kept going. And so then Lucius come up, and he got his little speech talking about, you know, that was Shine. He was my oldest living friend. We gonna miss Shine. He was a good guy. He had an eye for talent. Most people thought Blake was a white boy with a bad hairdo. And And he's like, but in turn, he saw that talent and polished his talent with his last drop of blood. And everybody is like, oh man, yeah. He was like, yeah, Miss Shine. He did good. We've been through a lot together. That was my friend, knowing damn well he had this dude killed. And then you can see Anika, and she in the crowd talking about how, Eddie, how well he did, and how she the one that found, Tiana and her talent, and so she working the crowd. And then Becky, she like, man, I should have gave Shine some. I should have let him have it. I should have opened up this mud puddle and let him fall all in, get him stuck in my quicksand. And Jamal, he's starting to get a little grossed out. She like, yeah, I should have gave him some of this chocolate pudding. Sure should have. He'd have been hooked. Gave him that diabetes with this sugar. And so then they showing Shine picture on the wall, and Andre, he's sitting there all depressed, and Jamal come because Andre know he dead for the reason why. And he like, man, you okay? He like, man, sometimes you think it gets easier, but it doesn't. He like, yeah, we wasn't here for you when your wife died. He like, man, I love you, bro. I'm sorry. He like, it's all good. I love you too, bro. And so then Becky walk over to Hakeem while he getting his drink on, and she like, look, I know this is a bad time, but I do got some good news for you. This other artist pulled out of this movie, and they contacted me to see if you want to do it, but I know you got a lot going on. You want to do it? He like, I can do both. And so then we see Lucius, and he walking with the baby mama, trying to work her and be all extra nice to her. Then she talking about what's going on and how she gonna miss him, and she ain't worried. He took care of her, but the baby mamas is crazy. And walks Eddie, and Eddie like, we are sorry about what happened. I'm sure it's a fund we can dip into to help you out. Then this fine ass girl come and say, yeah, that baby mama's is tripping. You need to come talk. So she leave, and then Lucius and Eddie talk. He like, hey, what's wrong with you? You still trying to steal this company and sell us like a slave at the auction? He like, ain't no slaves worth $100 million at the auction. He like, what's your problem? What are you trying to do? He like, man, we can still work this out and come together. Let's do the Kelly Patel deal. He like, man, you need to leave and get away from this company. And then she walked back. And so then Eddie, he dip off, and he say, I'm the only one here to talk on behalf of Empire. And so he like, we need to talk about that board seat. And she like, oh, I don't do business. His Nessa that does that. She got the board seat, so he know he done messed up now. Meanwhile, we see Hakeem, and he at the movie set. He about to give him a tip for taking him, and then he see this old square punk ass director come. He like, Hakeem, and he like, it's Hakeem. He like, yeah, you got a love scene with her later, get acquainted, and we'll get back to you. So he like, yeah, I liked your last movie, it was alright. She like, alright, looky here, keep your hands in the PG zones. We not gonna be friends. You be here for one day, and keep your tongue to yourself, and I'm not one of your little video hoes, and I'll see you later. And so she walked off. He like, damn, alright, nice to meet you then. And so she leave. Meanwhile, we see Andre, and he talking to Pastor Cavassier, and he trying to use him as counselor. And he like, man, every time I see Anika, I just get filled with hate. She's just, I just don't think I can forgive her. He like, well, forgiveness ain't about the person, it's about the forgiver. He like, but she don't deserve it. He like, yeah, but did you? And then he was like, dun dun dun. Meanwhile, we got the director and Hakeem, and he like, all right, let me see what you got. Act like you walking in to save Brandy. And so he go, but he get in position. He come in, and he like, yo, Brandy, where you at? Such and such. And they like, man, you need to act scared. So he act more scared, got her laughing, and he like, no, that's not believable, Hakeem. You got to do this. He like, man, look, you want me to be more scared or less scared? He like, man, she like, just do it what he say so we can get out of here. He like, look, hold the gun sideways like a rapper. Slur some words like you're on something. He like, man, don't nobody hold the gun like this. She like, just do what he say. I wanted to go. And so he go over there, there, and he trying to buy into this garbage that the director got him doing. Meanwhile, we see Cookie and Lucius, and they going over there to meet with Nessa about this board seat and Andre. And so she like, look, I'm sure you already want to talk to me, but I already talked to Anika, and she was pretty convincing, and she didn't hit me. She said, yeah, because she lacked follow through, and she like, anyway. And so then Lucius, after Cookie talking to her, she like, she wasn't trying to hear it. So then Andre like, look, I'm the one that's supposed to be apologizing. I did you wrong, and when we was together, I wasn't fully over what happened with my wife, and I owed you better than that. You didn't deserve it, and I'm sorry. And so it looked like she was kind of buying it, but then she was like, well, anyway. And then Lucius like, look, we can make it better. I can give you a new deal and extend your contract for 2 more albums. She like, how I know we do more than that? And he like, I'll give you a spot in our new show. And then Cookie like, that's Jamal's spot. He like, Jamal not here. Look, I'm gonna be here and do right by you. Shine was my best friend. She like, do you know who killed Shine? He like, I don't know who killed Shine, but I swear with my last breath, I'm gonna put every resource into finding out who killed Shine, and I'm gonna make sure they pay in the same way that Shine would. So she like, okay, I'm gonna do it because that's what Shine would want. And he's smiling, knowing damn well he full of crap. Meanwhile, we see Eddie and Anika. He getting a little fried cattail from the Chinaman, and then they eating, and he like, man, what we need to do. She like, I can't believe she signed up. He like, yeah, but what we need to do is instead of doing this behind the scenes, we'll ruin his new House of Empire showcase, and that'll help bring him down. Meanwhile, we see the movie, and Brandy and Hakeem is looking good. He doing good at the movie set, but the director said cut. And he like, what's the matter now? He like, man, how do you walk? Let me see the way you walk. You need to walk like you got Snoop Dogg playing in your head. He like, Snoop Dogg? And like, yeah, walk with a little bounce, like this. And so he started walking all crazy, like he making a blaxploitation film, like he trying to remake Superfly. He like, man, he like, walk like a rapper. He like, I am a rapper. He like, man, why don't you do like this? And he like, hey, look, man, I ain't gonna do that. Cut. He like, cut. You don't yell cut. I yell cut. He like, man, I'm not doing that. I don't care what you say. And he like, you could leave. Show him his trailer. He like, I'm out of here. He like, Hakim, you're fired. And he threw up the deuces because he was ready to leave anyway. But Brandy was impressed that he wasn't no sellout. So meanwhile, back at the house, we see the mama having dinner with the girls, telling them they need to be in charge of their own money and their orgasms. Got everybody smiling and laughing or whatever. They talking about, ooh, mama, you bad. You bad. And so then they all start laughing or whatever, and she's saying, oh man, this is heaven being here with my girls. This is just pure heaven. And so then they like, oh yeah, and this food is good too. And so then they all looking around, they like, yeah, this reminds us of when we was at that exhibit you had at the Gullah Island. She like, oh, so you had an exhibit and y'all was there? She like, yeah, but next time everybody can come since we all talking with each other and everything. And so then Cookie kind of getting in her feelings or whatever, and she like, yeah, it's okay, Lolo, everything will be alright, we all together now. And she like, oh, I guess being away from us gave you a lot of free time. She like, no, being away from y'all left a hole, and I just learned how to fill it, and life, is meant to be lived. And so Cookie staring her down, getting in her feelings. Then she flashed back to when she was in prison, and her mama talking about, I ain't giving up on you, Lolo, you the one chose high yellow trash over your kids. And then she telling her to shut up. She like, you the one that chose that. You think this is hard, this is easy? And I don't appreciate her talking about high yellow men. But anyway, she like, you shut up. You thought what you did was hard and it's easy. This ain't easy. And so then Cookie flashed back. She like, oh yeah, I remember when you came to see me. You said you wasn't giving up. She like, and I didn't give up. Your daddy wouldn't let me see y'all. And she like, oh, okay. And she like, yeah, I'm here now, Lolo. I remember when you was young and you had a little picture where you wanted to go, and she like, oh, but I didn't go nowhere but to jail. She like, that's not what I meant. And they like, that's not what she's saying, Larita. And so then everybody trying to, get her to calm down for a second. And she like, no. So I guess it's easy for you to leave us and do all the stuff you want to do. She like, you know what? I got things to do. I gotta go. And so she got up and walked away. And they like, sorry, mama. Sorry, mama. She like, it's all right. And so she get up to go get her. She like, hey, hussy. Hey, hussy. You know she old school. And she turned around. She like, what's the problem? What you so mad? You been on a tear? She like, I got things to do. And she like, I'm here. She like, you said you'd never give up, but all you did was travel and take pictures. She like, I had a hole in my heart and I wanted to be there for you. She like, yeah, well, that hole goes both ways. And she like, well, I'm here now and I want to be here and I'm willing to step on some landmines if that's what it takes. She like, yeah, well, maybe I'm tired of stepping on landmines. And so mama looking a little salty and lost, and then Cookie walk off. She tried to grab her, but Cookie wasn't trying to hear it. And so mama was left standing there looking stupid. Don't know what to do next. Meanwhile, back at the movie set, Hakeem in the trailer getting his stuff ready, and then you see old girl come up and he like, hey, I told y'all I'm busy. And then he look and see it's her, and he like, what's up? She like, hey, I admire what you did back there. That was cool. He like, oh yeah, well, here, you want some of my snacks? I'm out of here. I done got fired. She like, well, he like, I've been getting fired a lot recently. She like, oh, well, I wouldn't fire you. And he like, oh, is that right? He like, well, if you wouldn't fire me, why don't you come over to my set and I'll show you how I really live. Meanwhile, we see Cookie, and she talking to these people about the 20 for 20 that's going on, and she flashed back to how it was in the beginning and how she got it started. And Lucius wasn't even there with her because he was incapacitated, and she was like, but now it's starting to come to fruition, and now he's here with us. And then Lucius right there, he like, yeah, she was able to help me in my time of need, and she was there for me, and now we're going to show everybody a music experience like no other. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to show you the House of Empire. And then they like, well, what about Jamal? And they like, well, Jamal been through a lot this past year. So, an artist, and especially my son, comes first, so we're gonna give them a break, but we're gonna use this time to show the new artist. He like, yeah, we're gonna debut our newest artist. And then they start showing Tiana and how she was singing, and then they flash back and show Lucius. He like, this is gonna be House of Empire, and we're gonna debut our newest people. They showing Blake right there. They showing a couple other new artists that they ain't really go over doing they thing. And he like, you're gonna see a new world. And then she like, this is gonna work, right? He like, yeah, we got this, you're doing great. And so then they cut back to when they at the club, and the House of Empire debut, and Jamal like, this is great, you guys did great. And they got like 3D holographic lions roaring there, and she like, be careful of the lions, they bite. And everybody like laughing and chuckling or whatever as she walks off. Then they show Tiana, and she performing for the little House of Empire debut, and she come out doing a little head movements and whatever, shaking, doing a damn thing. Then we see Hakeem walking in with his new piece, Brandy. He got his new boo on his arm, and so she like, wow. He like, yeah, this is how my live world is. She like, it's kind of similar to mine. And so then we see Tiana dancing or whatever, and Hakeem, she like, that's the girl that fired you? He like, maybe. And so he's staring her down or whatever while she performing. She like, maybe, yeah, right, that's her. And so then to steal his attention away, she start kissing him, laying them sex ass lips on him. And so Tiana kind of see it, and she can tell she affected in a way, but she keep performing. The show must go on. And then next thing you know, he all over it. And then you got her girlfriend that didn't look like she done seen Black Panther too many times. She like, oh no, he didn't, you go, girl. And so Tiana still performing. She like, yeah, don't worry about him, Tiana. And so then we see Cookie mama walk in, and then the lion roar scared the boogers up out of her or whatever. Looked like her hair then got her first scared, electrocuted. And so you see Portia laughing, and then Cookie, she coming there, she like, yeah, well here, you said you wanted to get to know me better. I figured what better place than here. She like, okay, I love it. And so she like, yeah, so you might remember Lolo, but Cookie, she the one that did all this. This right here is all my blood, sweat, and tears. Me and Lucius. And then she got salty because she don't like Lucius' high yellow ass. And so then she like, yeah, all of this was here. I used to be mad that you wasn't here, but really I should be thanking you because that hole that you left in my heart, this is how I feel it. Then she like lifted her head up with her finger. She like, this is all Cookie right here. And I need to thank you because that hole you left, it made me stronger. And so then she bringing her over. She like, come here. And so she take her over to the kids. She like, meet your grandchildren. And so then she see the boys, Andre and Jamal and you know, Hakeem. And so she walk over and they like, here's your G-Ma. And so she like, come here, give me a hug. Of course Jamal walk over, hey grandma. And so then Andre come over. He all, you know, antisocial. Hakeem, he don't know what to do. And she end up giving them all a hug, happy to see him. And so then Cookie like, all right, I understand what you all felt about Eddie, but this right here is what it's all about. And then Lucius like, I want to show you guys what synesthesia did for me. And then they show how it's trending on Twitter. He like, this is the world of synesthesia. This is what I see. The color. He like, oh, okay, so this is the new look for Empire for the artist? He like, yeah. And then Cookie like, yeah, I know you guys like Eddie. He's a charmer. But this is what it's all about. And Roseanne all smiles. Everybody happy. They doing good. And then all of a sudden, this pop up behind them. And it got Blake looking like, you know, he part of the clan or whatever with his daddy. Got the little Heil Hitler up. They like, what is this? He like, Mr. Drummond all upset, and he like, what is this? And they like, I don't know what this is. And so then everybody's looking. He like, is this the new Empire look? That's what the reporters say. He like, I don't know what this is. No, I never seen this before. And then we see everybody looking like, what in the world? And so then they try to get it taken down, and then they talking to him, Hakeem and Becky, and he like, man, is that you? He like, it is me, but my dad made me do it. I was only 10. I didn't know what I was doing. She like, I don't hear nothing but banjo music, colonizer. And he like, man, you need to leave. He like, come on, man, you like a brother to me. He like, man, you need to go. And so then we see Lucius, and he talking to the board, trying to get it straightened out. And you got Mr. Burns, and he all upset, like, I don't understand what happened. You said it would go off without a hitch. She like, who you think you talking to? He like, we're gonna get the artist to cover up. And she like, I'm not going out there. You need to fix this. He like, I don't know what got into your head, little lady, but Eddie did. But you're gonna get out there. You're replaceable. She like, well, you can't replace all of us. And so then they all laugh, and she just been drunk laughing. Here come Eddie, and he like, can I help? And then Cookie like, no, we don't need you, Eddie. You need to leave. And then Mr. Burns was like, yeah, actually, Eddie, we do need you. And he was like, well, in my opinion. And then Lucius like, you the one that did this. And he like, no. And so then Mr. Burns had him go out there and talk. And so he like, I've been granted permission and the power by Empire to speak on their behalf. They like, where's Lucius? He like, well, Lucius and everybody is going to allow me to speak. This were offensive views. And Lucius is looking from the side. He like, these views are no longer supported by Empire and effective immediately. Blake is no longer going to be available. And so then Lucius walk up to him, and then he grab him by the collar like he's about to yoke him up. But Eddie did him a favor by grabbing him and giving him a bear hug to kind of make it look like it was a bear hug. He kind of could have made it look like he tried to beat him up and made him look bad. But then he whispered it in his ear, this is all you are. This is all you'll ever be. And Lucius kind of got a little salty when he told him that, because deep down Lucius know he still is a thug at heart. And he like, Lucius lying, everybody. And so now all the press, Mr. Burns, everybody is looking like, Lucius, you so stupid. And so now Lucius was left holding the bag looking stupid. And in the end, it's going to be a hell of an episode, because it looked like Eddie got the upper hand on Lucius as far as outthinking him. In the end, I want to thank you for supporting my work on Patreon. Check me out on PayPal. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also click that like button. I got some new t-shirts in the works for my new subscribers and Patreon. Just check out the reward tiers, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.